Hello my friends, welcome to this course on artificial neural networks. So it's a free course, therefore we will cover it in less than 2 hours, that's our challenge. But congratulations for taking action on taking this course and learning more about artificial neural network. So the value of this course is twofold. First, we're going to implement an artificial neural network using Tensorflow 2, so the brand new Tensorflow. And second, we will implement it on the Google Colab platform, which is the best platform to code in Python and to code artificial intelligence or machine learning or deep learning, because indeed you won't have any worry about how to install packages. All the packages are already installed and you just have to import them to use them. So that's really amazing and it removes a lot of pain. So that's where we will all code together. And since this is a free course, unfortunately, we won't have time to study the theory in depth. However, at the end of this course, you will be redirected to a longer course if you want on deep learning, where you can study artificial neural networks in more depth and with many more practical activities. But this one will still be very useful for you. You will still learn a lot, especially considering that we are implementing this artificial neural network with TensorFlow 2. So let's do this. Let's start. If you're ready, we're going to implement this step by step as usual from scratch. You will code everything with me. I really want you to take action and implement the code with me, at the same time, so that you can really practice yourself at home. So let's do this. Here we go with the first step. So the first step is very simply to be introduced to the dataset. And the dataset, we're going to get it from a great platform of dataset, which is the UCI machine learning repository. So here on Google, we're all going to type UCI machine learning repository, this one. And then we're going to go to the first link, UCI machine learning repository. And if you don't know this, well, you should really, because this is a great platform to practice implementing machine learning, because you have a lot of data sets on which you can, try your machine learning or deep learning models. So this is the welcoming page. You have all the newest data sets here, the most popular data sets hit since 2007. Okay, but where we're gonna go is here, view all data sets. So click this link here, and there you go. That's really what I wanted to show you. The UCI machine learning repository is clearly well organized between the different applications of machine learning, which are classification, regression, and clustering. So just to explain quickly, classification is a branch of machine learning where you're going to predict a category, for example, the winner of a football game or the next president of a country. Regression is the branch of machine learning where you predict a continuous outcome, a real value like the salary of a new employee or the temperature of tomorrow or the energy output of a system, any continuous real value. And then clustering is another branch of machine learning, which is actually called unsupervised, and which consists of identifying some patterns in the data. And it is called clustering because usually the patterns are in the form of clusters. We identify some clusters of data within a high-dimensional data set. You can see clusters also as segments of data grouped by similarities. So we won't cover clustering in this course because what we want to implement is an artificial neural network, and artificial neural networks are used for supervised learning, meaning that we know what to predict, and the artificial neural network we will build in this free course will be used for actually regression, which is another good thing about this course, because usually in our other machine learning or deep learning courses we implement an artificial neural network for classification, and this time I wanted to make something new. I want to implement this for regression, meaning that we're going to predict a continuous real outcome. So here we're going to go to regression. In the default task, we're going to go to the regression category in order to find all the data sets for regression. So you have 112, therefore a lot of opportunities to practice. And the one we're interested in is this one, Combined Cycle Power Plant. Here we go, so let's click it and let's see what this is about. All right, so you have here all the dataset informations. Here you have all the main facts about this dataset. The fact that it is a multivariate dataset. Indeed, we will have several attributes here. These are the ones to predict our dependent variable, our continuous outcome, which is the net hourly electrical energy output. Then the attribute characteristics are real numbers, instead of integers, for example. The associated task is of course regression. It's a regression task. We're going to predict a continuous real outcome, the energy output in megawatt. Then the number of instances is 9,568, meaning that's the number of observations with which we're going to train our artificial neural network to understand the correlations between those attributes such as the temperature, the pressure, humidity, vacuum, and what we want to predict, meaning the energy output. Then the number of attributes is 4, meaning that we're going to use 4 features, which are these ones, temperature, pressure, humidity, and vacuum, to predict, once again, the energy output. Missing values, no, they're not missing values. That's good. We won't have to do any data preprocessing, which is good because since we only have 2 hours to cover ANN's artificial neural network, well, it's better that we really focus on this. The area is computer, okay. Date donated, okay, 2014. And number of web hits, okay. So these are the facts. And so, as you understood, our practical activity will simply consist of predicting the net hourly electrical energy output, which is a real number, thanks to 4 attributes or 4 features, which are these ones: the temperature, the pressure, the humidity, and the exhaust vacuum. Okay? So that's it. That's simple. It's a simple data set, but that's because, once again, I really want to focus on how to build the artificial neural network with TensorFlow 2. So now what we're going to do is move on to the second step. You don't have to download the dataset here from this website. I just wanted to show you this website to see where it comes from and also to see all the dataset information. But you don't have to download this because in the next tutorial, you will have a link to download this dataset. So you will have exactly the same dataset as mine. This is the same as this one, but at least, we'll have the same name of the dataset. And therefore, when we import it on Python, on our Colab notebook, well, you'll make sure to import it the right way. Okay? So first step done, we got introduced to the dataset. Now we're going to move on to the second step, which is to start our implementation. This is the whole implementation of the artificial neural network. And in the next tutorial, along with the dataset, you will also get the link of this notebook. So make sure to get it. However, when you're going to click the link, you will end up here on this notebook. However, it will only be in read-only mode. Therefore, you won't be able to do any modifications. So what you will have to do, and let's do it now so that we can be ready to start already from the next tutorial, is we're going to click File here, and then we're going to click Save a Copy in Drive. And that way, we will be able to do some modifications and, especially implement our artificial neural network. Okay, and so final thing before we move on to step 2, we're going to delete all the code cells here because I really want us to re-implement this from scratch so that you can really code it yourself. It will stick better in your head, if you take action in code. So let's just remove all the cells here so that we can indeed re-implement it from scratch, step by step, until we get the final result. All right, so that's how you do it. Make sure to delete only the code cells and not the text cells. The text cells indeed highlight the structure of this implementation, so you want to make sure to keep them to know where we are going throughout the implementation. And there we go. So that's the whole structure of this implementation, which we will start in the next step. So as you can see, it's an implementation structured in 3 parts. Part 1, data preprocessing. Part 2, building the ANN. And part 3, training the ANN. And at the same time, we will predict the results of the test set, which will be created here in part 1, data preprocessing. All right, are you ready? Are you ready to implement an artificial neural network using TensorFlow 2 on Google Colab? You're going to see we're going to have a fantastic journey, and even in 2 hours, you will definitely learn a lot. So I'll see you in the next tutorial to begin our journey.